our point of awareness is one point of perception within infinite awareness to which we are all a part. And you can have pea-sized awareness, which is what the system wants humanity to have, or you can open your mind and open your consciousness to access greater swathes of infinite awareness. In other words, your point of attention expands, and suddenly it's encompassing information, insight, knowledge, intuitive knowing that five sense attention does not access. And the whole foundation, and you can go back through what we call time, centuries, thousands of years, and the same thing is there when it comes to human control. Disconnect five sense self or sense of self from infinite self. And when you analyze what I call the program that people go through from cradle to grave, whether it's education, whether it's parents who have downloaded the program and thus become agents of the program unknowingly, whether it's peer pressure, people around you who downloaded the program and become agents of the program without realizing, and whatever the source of information is, it's telling you to perceive a certain minute range of possible reality and think that's all there is to know, that's all there is to think. And also what happens is that once you've downloaded, I'm talking generally here, of course there are major exceptions and getting larger all the time, but once the download has happened, the downloader becomes the, if you like, mixing my metaphors, the prison warder for everybody else. So you take the download and you take the download to be your sense of reality, the sense of you. But then if anyone else comes along and starts challenging your download and saying, actually, that doesn't make sense, and actually here's another fix on reality, here's another fix on the world, well, those people are mad, crazy, and to be dismissed by reflex action. This is how the program works. And this is why the vast majority still, though it's changing, have a perception of a reality which is not the way the world is. It's simply the way the world is according to the download. And it's very powerful, and it's very detailed, and it's very systematic, and it's been going on a long time.
Yes, and you talk about in your book as well how the bloodlines, are part of this control system in a sense that we're born into, and okay, we did get it, in the perception deception, we did get into the possibility of what was behind the control as well, in a sense, as well, which we'll probably get into this as well. God, this is yeah. Okay, so you've gone straight into it, basically, of what this is. Now, you let's just say this as well. You do have a world tour associated with this new book as well.
Yeah, actually, the two are not connected. I mean, anyone looking on would think they were connected, but I started writing the book before I really had any idea how big this world tour was going to be. And as I've been writing the book, which is, what I started with, just dates and dates and dates and dates have been added and continue to be added. And it's like, again, this synchronicity of my life since that Betty Shine period and what followed is showing itself again, because, you'll know this, many of the people watching this will have had this experience, that once you start to expand your awareness out of the five senses alone, then you find incredible synchronicity starts to happen in your life. Things start to fall into place. And I live my life on the basis of, if it's easy, go for it. If there's blocks all over the place, well, there's something wrong. It might be something wrong with you. It might be the fact that you're pursuing something that is not right at this time, or maybe not right at all. So wait until it falls into place. And my goodness me, how it's fallen into place in the last 6 months. It's just incredible and goes on being so.
Yes, absolutely, and as well, when you go down that path of looking at things from a different perspective, you do lose people as well. There is a loss as well, in the sense of people that even family, I could say, that maybe would see you from a different perspective, and not be too sure, or not be able to go down the same road as you.
Yeah, well, that's a very relevant point, Kev, to what we've just been talking about. Because we have all this thing about blood's thicker than water, and all these phrases and terms that we have, but actually the difference is not really, if you look at it more deeply, the difference between family and not family, or friends and not friends, or others and not others. It's the program and the deprogram. The deprogrammed, and deprogramming, more to the point, because it doesn't happen at once, it's a process. But once you start deprogramming, you are literally accessing levels of perception that those still in the program are not. Thus, that which is still in the program cannot understand you. To you, or to them rather, you are strange. You are acting strangely, because you are acting outside of their norm. Now, this is a very, very important area with regard to the program, and that's the perception of normal. Normal is simply what people normally experience. It's merely what they normally come across, how people normally interact with them. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's right. It just means it's familiar by being repeated till it becomes a normal. So I've made this point in Phantom Self. If you are born into a madhouse and that's all you know, then madness becomes your normal. And even though, it may be crazy, it's normal. So it's not crazy to you, because people don't equate. This is a very important point. People overwhelmingly do not equate normal with insanity. You do when you start to awaken, because you can see it. But they don't normally do that. They associate normal with sanity and with rational thinking. And it's funny, when you go through the definitions of rational and insane and all these things, a word keeps coming up, and it's in terms of the definition of rational, for instance, and it's normal. It's this idea that normal must somehow be how things are. And so when someone comes into the madhouse that you've been living in all your life, and you're taking it as your normal, therefore it's sane and this is how things are, and they start pointing out that the madhouse is crazy, then you think they're crazy, because your normal is your reference point for sanity. And so people, if you look at it, Kevin, throughout the whenever anyone has questioned the norm, they've been seen as mad or bad. They've been seen as crazy or dangerous. And of course, what history has recorded and perceived from hindsight with large numbers of these crazies is they were right. And the reason is that this program has obviously changes. The nature of it doesn't. What it does in terms of focusing attention on the five senses and forming this fake self, phantom self, that doesn't change. But obviously the detail does. So, years ago, it was fierce religion that created the phantom self. Today, it's technology, it's celebrity, it's game shows and reality TV and all this stuff together that forms the phantom self. But the common theme throughout the ages, whatever form phantom self may take, is that phantom self is disconnected from an awareness and a powerful influence from the greater self. And it's still going on today. Like I say, it's just taking a different expression today. But the whole foundation and structure of control has never changed, really. I mean, in the days when fierce religion was the great controlling force, still is for many people, of course, but I mean, massively then, the normal came out of religious books. And if you challenged the normal of the religious books, you ended up burnt at the stake or whatever. It's not, and now, you know, it's slightly more enlightened times. It's certainly in certain parts of the world, the burning of the stake now becomes mass ridicule, mass condemnation, and endless abuse on social media. But the basic process is the same.